Top 10 actors with the most tragic real-life stories. John Gilbert. John Gilbert was the king of silent cinema. His charisma and passion made audiences swoon, and he was rivaled only by Valentino in the 1920s. But when talkies arrived, his career collapsed. Stories spread that his voice didn't match his romantic image, though politics at MGM were also to blame. He was humiliated by an industry that once adored him. Gilbert's downfall was swift, leaving him disheartened, his stardom fading while younger stars rose. His tragic story wasn't just the shift in technology, it was betrayal by the very system he had carried. Hollywood's cruelty ended a career that should have lasted far longer. Frances Farmer. Frances Farmer was everything Hollywood wanted: striking looks, brilliant talent, and a rebellious edge. Yet her outspokenness made her dangerous to the studio system. Rumors surrounded her, tabloids destroyed her reputation, and her career crumbled. Her struggles with mental health were met with harshness instead of compassion in an era that had little understanding. Farmer's decline was devastating, as she became a public spectacle rather than an actress celebrated for her craft. Hollywood let her fall, watching with silence. Her legacy remains haunted, proof that stardom could be as destructive as it was dazzling. Gail Russell. Gail Russell's beauty and haunting eyes made her unforgettable. Cast alongside John Wayne and leading men of the era, she seemed destined for greatness. But inside she was fragile. Struggles with anxiety and depression turned fame into a nightmare. Being thrust into the spotlight only deepened her sense of isolation, and she struggled to cope. Hollywood offered no support, only judgment. Roles dried up, and eventually Russell faded from the industry altogether. Her gentle spirit was crushed by the environment that should have celebrated her. Her tragic story is one of talent lost too early, smothered by fear and misunderstanding. Montgomery Clift. Montgomery Clift was one of the finest actors of his generation. He inspired modern method acting, embodying sensitivity and pain on screen. Yet his real life mirrored that pain too closely. After a devastating car accident, his face was shattered, his health declining. Hollywood, once enchanted by his beauty, pulled away. He fought on bravely, continuing to act with brilliance. But many called his later years the longest suicide in Hollywood history. His struggle with fame, physical pain, and private anguish made his life as tragic as it was remarkable. Clift gave his soul to cinema, but it came at the cost of peace. Dorothy Dandridge. Dorothy Dandridge shattered barriers, becoming the first African-American woman nominated for Best Actress. Yet instead of opening doors, Hollywood closed them. Prejudice denied her the opportunities she deserved. She was forced into roles beneath her talent, while lesser performers soared ahead. Her beauty and dignity could not shield her from discrimination or the isolation it caused. She carried the frustrations of being both admired and rejected, celebrated in name, but denied in deed. Dandridge's tragic story lies in the greatness she might have achieved if Hollywood had not betrayed her. Her legacy today honors what the studios once denied: Jean Seberg. Jean Seberg embodied youthful beauty and rebellion in films like Breathless. But beyond the glamour rested immense tragedy. She became a target of relentless surveillance and harassment due to her political views. Rumors were planted by those seeking to destroy her. Her career faltered as gossip drowned out her artistry. Hollywood, which could have defended her, stepped aside. She carried grief silently, her private life crumbling under public cruelty. Jean Seberg's story reveals the brutal cost when art, stardom, and politics collide. She was luminous on screen, yet behind that light was a life weighed down by betrayal and heartbreak. Judy Garland. Judy Garland was adored worldwide, from the magical voice of Over the Rainbow to her dynamic stage performances. Yet behind her radiance was unimaginable suffering. As a child, the studio controlled everything: her weight, her sleep, her health. They put her on a brutal regime of pills and contracts, denying her true freedom. Judy longed for stability and peace, but public expectations and mistreatment drained her. Every comeback was followed by another collapse as Hollywood exploited her over and over. Garland's tragedy was not her fragility, but the cold cruelty of a business that used her brilliance until it broke her. Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton was one of cinema's greatest inventors, a genius of silent comedy whose stunts defied belief. His creative vision reshaped film. Yet behind the laughs, Keaton's personal life was often grim. MGM stripped him of his independence, forcing him into bland roles. He endured the pain of losing control over his own artistry, coupled with personal struggles. Once a giant, Keaton was reduced to scraps of what he once was. Though history now reveres him, his fall during his lifetime was heartbreaking. He gave the world joy and laughter, but privately, he was left abandoned by the machine he helped build. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe remains one of the most admired figures in all of Hollywood history. To her fans, she glowed with light, the ultimate glamour, the perfect smile. But inside, Norma Jean longed simply to be understood. She craved recognition as an actress, not just a symbol. The studios refused to see her beyond the blonde bombshell image. Fame weighed on her delicate spirit, photographers followed her endlessly, and lovers failed her. Loneliness became her constant shadow. She gave the world beauty, charm, and unforgettable films, but fame robbed her of peace. Marilyn's tragic story is the cost of being adored yet never truly known. Hedy Lamarr was idolized as the most beautiful woman on screen. Hollywood made her a goddess of allure, but denied her substance. Off-screen, she lived a double life of frustration. She was a brilliant inventor who co-created technology that later shaped Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but nobody acknowledged her genius. The studios used her face, discarded her ideas, and left her unfulfilled. At times, she felt invisible as an intelligent woman beneath the mask of beauty. To live with such brilliance but be valued only for appearance, that is one of Hollywood's cruelest betrayals. Hedy's tragedy lies not in failure, but in the world's blindness. Today, history redeems her, but the pain of her erasure lingers.